Hi everyone, good morning. How are you all? Today let's discuss a poem from literature, and the name of the poem is Geography Lesson, and it is written by Brian Patton. This poem is about the speaker's geography teacher who had unfulfilled dreams of traveling around the world. So here is the poem. Geography Lesson. Our teacher told us one day he would leave and sail across a warm blue sea to places he had only known from maps and all his life had longed to be. So, in this first stanza, the poet is talking that his geography teacher would leave his job as a teacher one day and he would travel. He would sail across warm blue sea and he wanted to visit the wonderful places he had seen on maps. Okay, he was dealing with maps because he was a geography teacher and he wanted to visit all those wonderful places that he had seen only on maps. Okay, to places he had only known from maps and all his life had longed to be. So he wanted to visit all those places which he had longed to be. The house he lived in was narrow and grey, but in his mind's eye he could see sweet scented jasmine clinging to the walls and green leaves burning on an orange tree. The poet lived in a narrow and small house, but he could imagine himself living in a bright house with warm sunshine and flowers. He wanted to visit foreign lands with warm weather than his native England. In the second stanza, we can see that he's telling about orange tree with bright green leaves and sweet scented jasmine flowers. The poet is telling that his geography teacher wanted to visit the places which were having orange trees, a lot of flowers, etc. And he also wanted to visit places having warm weather. Third stanza. He spoke of the lands he longed to visit, where it was never drab or cold. I couldn't understand why he never left and shook off the school's stranglehold. So, the speaker, who was the student of the geography teacher, is telling that in every class, his teacher was telling about the places he wanted to visit. The places were never, it was drab or cold, it was never dull or cold. And the speaker is wondered then why the teacher never left from the school, why he gave up his job as a teacher and he never visited the places he wanted to visit. And shook off the school's stranglehold. Shook off means broke away from. Then stranglehold means complete control of the school. The speaker is wondered why his geography teacher never left his job and why he couldn't fulfill his dreams to visit the wonderful places he read about and he had seen on maps. Then, halfway through his final term, he took ill and never returned. And he never go to that place on the map where the green leaves of the orange trees burned. Then what happened when it was midterm? Yes, the geography teacher fell ill and he never came to school. He never returned. And what might have happened? Yes, he might have passed away. So he never returned to school and he never took geography lessons to them. He never talked about his dreams to visit the wonderful places which he had read about and he had seen on maps. And he never go to the place on the map. He could not complete or fulfill his dreams to visit the amazing places Were the green leaves of the orange trees burnt? He wanted to visit places with warm weather, full of flowers and bright leaves, trees with bright leaves. The maps were redrawn on the classroom wall. His name was forgotten, it faded away. But a lesson he never knew he taught is with me to this day. So after that, there came new geography teacher and the maps were redrawn. Then eventually the geography teacher was forgotten and the geography lessons also were forgotten. But a lesson he never knew he taught is with me to this day. However, the speaker had learned a more important life lesson than the geography syllabus. His geography classes were so good, and the speaker was inspired by his description about the wonderful lands where he wanted to visit. But unfortunately, he fell ill and he could not complete his dreams. He could not fulfill his dreams. But the poet, who was his student, was inspired by his descriptions about the lands, and he also wanted to visit those bright lands with burning orange trees. I travel toward the green leaves burn, toward the ocean's glass clear and blue, to all those places my teacher taught me to love, but which he never knew. Years passed. The geography teacher was forgotten. His geography classes also were forgotten. But the speaker, the poet of this lesson, never forgot his geography teacher. And also, he never forgot about the lessons he taught him with love. He taught him to love different places, to explore different lands, having warm weather, beautiful flowers, and burning trees. So, now he is traveling around the world. He is sailing across warm blue sea. These lessons were taught by his geography teacher with love. So his geography teacher couldn't fulfill his dreams to explore different lands, different places. But his student, the speaker, is traveling across the world.